involvement with the 73 RS really goes back to almost before we started the business. Autofarm started in 73, and the first cars through the door were 27 RSs that were being mainly rallied in the UK. And we were looking after them, mending them, supplying glass fibre bumpers, spare wheels, all sorts of bits and pieces. And as soon as we could afford the time and the money to have a bit of fun motorsport ourselves, then 2.7 RS mechanics and the engine in particular were the main source of fun. I acquired a 1965 912, which I then put an RS engine and gearbox into and went hill climbing. And bless it, it started breaking all the hill climb records. 911s are brilliant at club motorsport because of the traction. And the RS engine has got such an excellent power curve that you can cope with not having quite the right gear ratio and that sort of thing, and traction off the line and out of tight corners is so brilliant that our early lives, Autofarm's early life, evolved around both the RS itself and the major mechanical components that make the car what it is. It was owned by Philippe Ornay, who was for 25 years president of the Porsche Club of France. Sadly, he died some 15 years ago now. And his son was selling off when the wife died. His son had to dispose of the estate. And I got quite involved because there were 6 Porsches in it, and this one in particular was one that Philippe had used as his sort of fun weekend wheels rather than a competition car. And it was a story. It was colourful. He'd had it for 30 years. Well, he bought it 30 years ago, and it just appealed as an enthusiast owned, not especially original, just a colourful and a very French motor car. As an Englishman, that I can cope with that. How do you get the best out of a 911? An RS in particular? You've got to remember where the weight is, which is both a plus and a minus if you get it wrong. So it's motoring on the limit with them is a long discussion about you and the engine and who's actually in control. It is a slow in, fast out car. Porsche, bless them, have always given the cars excellent brakes. I mean, back in the late 60s, they got ventilated discs all round, and they've always been excellent on brakes. So from that point of view, the slow-in was always perfectly feasible to attempt, and a little bit of a flick to get the tail to begin to move, which isn't difficult at all, and then drive it with your right foot. And the steering is light, so you can apply the opposite lock with one hand. Nick Four always used to say you could let go of the steering wheel, but I'm not sure I really recommend that. But there is some logic behind that, in that if you get the balance right with the power hard on, you have to do very little with the steering wheel once you've got it set up in the corner. And of course, with that engine at the back, it will give you some serious grip. And if you're getting it slightly wrong, then you just lift off a bit and the engine will make sure you adjust your line, and hopefully it'll adjust it the right way. The legend of the RS is it's very well founded, very solidly founded. Obviously the problem nowadays is that the market has become so wide and international, and the investors are identifying, quite rightly, identifying the RS as one of the most collectible of the whole 911 range. rightly so, but it's generated this situation where cars are being taken back to as new or better and are sitting in collections doing nothing. For me, to be able to find one that's got a fun owner history, that's not particularly original, but is a good, solid, straight car, I don't have to worry about it being a garage queen that I'm going to get muddy. I can get out there and get on with it. I think it's a tragedy for all marques where the best cars become investment items rather than what they were originally designed to do. It's inevitable, can't do anything about it, but try and avoid it if I can.